Hello, viewer. Today is Monday, September the 5th, 2022. I am the He Hulk, and I am always angry. Rah! Hello, folks. I am Mr. Brown, and I trust you are all very well today. House of the Dragon, episode 3. We've got the guests out already. We'll just bring them on. Matt Cat 83, hello.
Hey, what's up, nerds?
You well, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good.
How's your channel going?
Oh, pretty good. I just got a sponsor, so I'm pretty excited about that. So,
wow.
Yeah, I'm excited. My first one.
Wasn't Little Platoon, was it?
No, I wish. I wish.
Sponsored by Viagra.
Yeah, right on. So,
well done, mate.
Slowly
well
but surely. Slowly but surely.
Slow and steady wins the race. Look who's here as well. It's not Brian Young. Hello, Brian.
Good evening, Bruin. Good evening, Matt. And good evening to the chat. How are things for all of us today?
Not bad. You okay, buddy?
Not too bad. Slept in almost for the stream, but I'm here. Made it.
Your stream and you nearly never turned up?
Yes. Well, I didn't turn up the first episode either, but that's a different kind of not turning up anyway.
Should we just say hello, chat? Hello, chat. Franco's in. Mr. Brown Alliance, that's me. Jacob. Hey up, Jacob. Franco. Marlin, the unlucky.
Yeah, he says Northern stream. Yes, hey up, Jacob.
Lord Cord is his first sponsor. Yes. Shane Nolan's in. Hey up. Look who's here. The mighty Melvin Deeply. And just as mighty as Melvin, Bridget Moore.
Bridget.
Oh, Bridget's. Okay, so we didn't do episode 2, did we?
No, we didn't. We didn't get round to it.
Did we fall asleep or something?
I hope not. It was good.
I think it was scheduling issues that caused a bit of a difficulty with that one.
Yeah.
I do believe we discussed episode 1. Would one of you two like to do a brief resume of episode 2? I'm sure there were dragons.
There were. I don't. Gosh, I don't remember how it started out, but they ended up going to Dragonstone, where Daemon stole an egg, which was promised to the king for a day, or the heir for a day, and then the sister came, or the niece, Rhaenyra's.
Not Renier, was it?
No.
Hello,
but she wrote her dragon there to stop him, and she just basically was all like, "Hey, give the egg back." And then I'm trying. Oh, and then he announced he was going to marry that redheaded chick, whatever her name is, Alicent.
Yeah.
Yeah. I might get names wrong. That's the thing about these books is in this show is there's a lot of names and a lot of them sound the same. I was like, man, it's hardcore. It's hardcore.
Yeah, it was that episode 2 was essentially just Lord Corley's and Demon's Revolt and the announcement to Alicent. That was basically the two main.
Yeah, and they started the war, the war of the Stepstones. Like when is it Corlys? Corlys. He went and talked to Daemon, talked him into to starting the war. And he said that really good line. He said something like, "Second sons, their worth is not given, but it must be taken, or must be made." And I was like, "Ooh, that's a good line." I was like, I can't remember that if that was. I don't remember if that was in the book because it's been a while, but I definitely like that line. So I was like,
are both of your feelings? Do you think this is going to be a good series, guys? What do you think?
Brian, you go first.
It certainly has the potential to be a good series. I'm slightly torn over it as a whole, as much as I'm enjoying moments. I think the pilot episode got me on side pretty quickly, but as the Little Platoon pointed out, it might be slightly inaccessible to people who haven't seen Game of Thrones or have read the books. I think we spoke about that in a review of episode 1, but I'm actually able to feel that now.
Time Prophet, he ain't watching this.
Right. I agree with Platoon and what Brian just said. Like for people that haven't read the books, this they're not really attached to it as much.
So it's for the fans then.
I think so, but I
yeah.
think there is good things. The only thing I have a problem with the show is just at the rate of they're going through this one book. I don't know how many seasons they can have. Like, I mean, maybe 3 seasons tops, because they've already finished the War of the Stepstones, and I thought they would take a little bit longer with the War of the Stepstones, but they just went, and they didn't even take I was talking to my brother earlier today, and I was like, they 3 episodes and they're done with the Stepstones, and it was really just this one episode was the War of the Stepstones, and I was like, so I don't know how faster they're going to go through this book, but if they keep going at this rate, they're going to burn through it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Here you go, Brendan. Sorry, Brian, just if I may. Brendan Haley or Halley, this is weird. A review of a good modern show. I'm at a little lost. I'm so often disappointed in new shows. I am not used to feeling cautiously happy about a show.
Ain't that the truth?
Brian, sorry.
I just think the reduction, they've basically turned the Stepstones into a fight against pirates. Almost, they seem to have taken away the what's the word? The Tri-Alliance,
the Triarchy.
Of Tyr, Myr, and Lys. There was so much potential for storytelling in there that could have done for the entire season, and if they've taken that out, and I think it weakens the characters' resolve. It seems to be that the power of the Targaryens, and they're sending Daemon out to fight against, get one guy instead of engaging them all. It seems like enough a wasted opportunity. But having said that, I'm still able to kind of go along with it to a degree.
Right on. Yeah.
I would say hello to Romeo Tango November Zulu. Good morning, my friend. Shall we do the slides then? So we're saying episode 2 was good. It's promising.
Yeah, I like the episodes. It's just I like we said before. I think it's really, if you haven't read the book, you might be a little like, my wife asks me all the time, "Who's that? What's that? What's going on here?" And I have to explain it, and I'm all like, and sometimes I forget because I'm all like, shit, I don't remember exactly what happened. I was like, and then I forget names. Names are the hardest. Too many names.
Franco Walker in the chat. I have never read the books or watched GOT.
May I ask Franco how he feels watching this? Does he feel as if he doesn't know what's going on? There's a lot missing from it. Do you feel as if it would have been better with more of an explanation? Give us your input, Franco, if you...
Is it because technically, if he's not seen GOT, he's in a good position to view this then? It's like from the very beginning.
Personally, I don't think so. I think unless you've seen Game of Thrones, and unless you have some of the background knowledge of the books, I think you'll get an awful lot more out of it if you've got a bit of background knowledge with the books.
Right, okay. Let's go then. Mr. Brown Alliance, we need 1,000 subscribers. Please subscribe. Although I know everybody in the chat has subscribed, so any newbies or lurkers or re-rubbers, as it were, you know what you have to do.
Yeah.
Share. Yes. House of the Dragon poster. Various posters kicking around. I just thought I'd leave that one from last week.
Right on.
Home box office. So this is obviously the title graphics,
which I think this new opening sequence sucks. I'm like, it's like a family trip. You can't see what's going on, and nobody knows what this is. It's just, I think it's too confusing. It's not as cool as Game of Thrones.
I think partly also because we don't have all. Game of Thrones had every other house involved at some point. Here it's a very small sort of selection of it, and we're not really getting into the nitty-gritty of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay, let's proceed then. So this is episode 3, obviously. So initial, just a brief sentence. Was this a good episode, guys? Initial thoughts?
I will say yes. I thought it was a good episode.
Brian?
And
Yeah, pretty
and-
decent episode, pretty solid. There's a few issues I have here and there. I think I'll maybe just go through it
Yeah.
at a time.
Yeah, and that Patty, what's his face? This was his. This
Considine.
was, yeah, thank you. This was his episode. He was my favorite. This was his episode. He was my favorite in this episode. He did such a good job.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him in very many things, but I was like, good on him. He's going places.
I think it was
If
in Hot Fuzz.
Yeah, if you've seen him in Hot Fuzz, there's
I
quite a
have not.
contrast between his character in Hot Fuzz and this. If you've seen him in
The only thing I've seen him in was the girl with all the gifts.
right. The name escapes me. He wrote and directed that. I've mentioned it. It was one of my recommendations, for
You
God's
can do
sake,
it,
Brian.
Brian. You can do it.
Oh, moving on.
Moving on. Okay, so
Dead
I
Man's
can see-
Shoes. I knew it the minute he moved on. Dead Man's Shoes. He's unbelievable in that. He's so good.
I've written it down.
Okay, so dragons, I do believe. What's happening
Yes.
here?
Well, this is one of the battles. This is the Crab Feeder's men. And I don't know his name. I don't know if they ever said his name, but he's from House Saltagar. I can't remember if he's a Mirish prince or not. I thought maybe he was, but I couldn't remember from the book or not if he was a prince or not.
They make an awful lot about him actually feeding the men to the crabs. It's literally one line in the book where he kills the guy and leaves the crabs to get them, which could basically just mean leaving them in the sand.
Right.
But
Right on.
it's now become this, because there's so little source material in this specific part of Fire and Blood. They're just tacking things on quite literally in this scene.
Right on, yeah. I did enjoy this though. I like seeing the dragons, so I'm not gonna complain. I like it when he flames that one dude and all you see is his leg left over.
Yes. Yeah.
And then I do also like when he's like, come out so I can kill you. And I'm all like, yeah, because he's gonna do that.
Schwarzenegger.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm not good with the accent, but he's like, where are you? Come out. And I'm all like, dude, you've got a dragon. Like he's just gonna step out and be like, here I am.
Well, that's the one bit of this show that I've got a problem with. He had been able to put the dragon right at the mouth of the cave he was hiding in, and dragons can melt stone, so he could just have sat and breathe fire at it all day and
Yeah, that's
know
a
that he
good
was going to
point, too.
die. That kind of took me out of it a bit.
Right on. Although they do I do like this visual right here of him, just standing at the entrance. And
It certainly looks very good.
Yeah,
To
they
his
do.
credit,
Go ahead.
sorry, Matt, on you go.
No, you go.
Both of you
To its
decide
credit-
between you.
To its credit, it does have the cinematography is very, very good. The CGI doesn't take me out of this at all. I know a couple of the boys have said that it's distracting, but it doesn't really bother me at all.
Yeah, I agree. I'm in the same boat. The CGI I think is very well. The thing about this is it's at nighttime, so you can do crappy CGI, but they do a very good job. The dragon looks good. I think everything here looks good. So
That looks like a
Except for
Sons of
that
the
mask.
Harpy.
yeah, except for that
mask.
mask. I hate this
Oh, I
mask.
thought that was Ben Solo.
But now that you say that, it does look like the Sons of the Harpy mask. Now that you said that, it does look like it.
So for the uninitiated, who's this?
This
The
is
crab-
the crab eater. Go ahead, Brian.
It's okay. You just said it. Sorry, Matt. There's a bit of a
No,
delay
you're
between
good.
you and I. I'll try and shut up and let you go in a minute.
No, you talk.
Stop both of you being so polite. Who is it?
It's the crab feeder. He leads the opposition to Karalas or whatever, or Corlaz or whatever, however you say his name.
Lord Corley's.
Corlys, yes. I'm gonna try to remember that.
See, I think he should have been just in it for. They've tried to make him a main antagonist so far in this the first three series, but to me, he should just have been almost a side character that kind of kicked off the events rather than being this.
Yeah.
They've almost treated him with this silence like one of the undead,
Yeah, because and then his
the Night
character's-
King. Sorry.
Yeah, and then his character's gone now, so it's like, okay, well he came and went. So I mean,
Shane Nolan. Hello, Shane. It looks like he has psoriasis, which I had to think about it, but yes.
yeah,
Built
his
a grayscale.
his skin makes me itch. I don't like it. Yeah.
Okay,
Moving
let's
on.
move Yeah, moving on.
The attack continues.
Yeah, see, this looks very, very good. I liked this. I like this a lot. The CGI is good. I like seeing the dragon. This is my favorite dragon out of all of them. So,
Franco Walker at Mr. Brown Lines, that's me. I only lasted 10 minutes and I was confused, but the sets and CGI look really great.
was that just for this episode, Franco, that you were confused?
Just to pick up on Jacob saying, I nitpick things like the Game of Thrones dragons were wyverns, not dragons.
Yeah, that's very true. They're not dragons. Because if they were true dragons, they'd have the 4 legs and then the wings would be on the back. These ones.
I will say, if I may, next time we do episode 4, I do believe, Jacob, the invite is there, my friend. If you fancy, you obviously know what you're talking about. There is an invite.
Yes, he is correct on that. He gets shot with that arrow. I did like how the like he lifted the thing and Caraxes blocked all the arrows with his wing. I thought that was pretty cool. They did a lot of cool things in this first scene. There was a lot of cool stuff in the show altogether, but it was all put together very well. I enjoyed it.
The one thing that kind of gets to me is that because of the pacing, you know, when the dragons appear in season 7 and destroy the Lannister army, everything's built up, and once that finally happens, it's pretty exhilarating when you watch it. Whereas here, you've kind of seen it before, plus it just kind of happens. We don't have that same emotional kind of link to the characters.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I like I said before, I think it's just they're rushing through so much. Like I feel like they were like, we might not get a season 2, so we might as well try to fin it as much as we can, which I appreciate. But at the same time, I just go, what are you going to do later? Because they do have a season 2, and I'm all like, what are you going to do now? Because you've already done all of this. So,
well, I think they've put this out thinking that it might not take off because of the ending of Game of Thrones.
Right on.
But now they realize that. Now they realize people have, I don't know if forgiven them is the right term, but they're certainly more into it. I'm certainly more into it after rereading the books. And I think they could have really padded this out. I think they might look at this as an own goal, but if they didn't know how it was going to work out, you can see why they made that decision.
Franco says just episode 1.
Oh, right on. I feel you. It's confusing. Like my wife didn't read the books. All she saw was Game of Thrones, and she did a lot of who's that? Who's that? And I'm like, well, I don't know. Why don't we find out together?
Okay. So, Matt, who's the name of this actor again? Sorry.
Patty. What's his face?
Considine.
Considine. I kept wanting to call him Constantine, but I was like, it's not pronounced that, but I don't know how to say it. So Patty, what's his face? I do that a lot in my real life. I'm all like, will you go talk to what's his face? He won't leave me alone. But
this looks like a committee meeting.
Yeah, it's Aegon's second birthday or second name day.
Yep. Celebration.
Yeah. Which, I mean, they go all out for these birthdays, but I'm the same way with my kids. I go all out on their birthdays.
And he's currently been annoyed here by one of the Lannister twins.
Yeah, because he wants to bother him about the war and the Stepstones. He's like, it's been 3 years. It's been 3 years, so we can wait 3 days. I was like, well, you've waited a long, long time.
You do get the impression he is.
Oh,
when you don't.
Half the internet can't say Constantine. Shocking. It's probably just us Americans.
Sorry, Brian, there's a delay. Oh, no, that's an echo, isn't it? Proceed.
That's an echo. I forgot what you've put me right off my track there. Again. Never mind. Right. Next.
Yeah, and the guy behind him he's from House Strong, I believe. Yeah, that guy. He's from House Strong.
He's been in the first couple of episodes.
He has, yes, he has. And so he's all like, where's my daughter? And she's out by the tree, the red tree. I don't know, what are these called? These trees? Shit.
Weirwood.
Weirwood. Thank you. And this guy over here is singing a song about horses or something. I can't remember. It sucked. It wasn't a very good song.
I had traumatic.
Go ahead.
Sorry, Matt. I've done it again. We've had traumatic flashbacks thinking it was Ed Sheeran coming in again.
That's funny. And she just wants to read. She doesn't want anything to do with the hunt or her brother's birthday, which is not very sibling of her.
Did you find the narrative was slightly out here? Because at the end of the last episode, it looked like he was going to take a wife and basically do away with her being the heir, and now we're back to her being the heir again.
No, I didn't get that because I mean, I got that everybody else wanted that, but I didn't get that from the king.
I figured the very idea of him too was taking another wife, supposedly furthering his line.
Right on.
That was, they were basically saying, well, you need a male heir, so get to it, basically.
Yeah, and and later on, she does say something along the lines of, did he make me queen just out of spite of his brother or something like that? I can't remember exactly what she says, but and I'm just wondering, is he keeping her queen because he does? Well, I know, but is he keeping her queen just so he doesn't have to deal with the whole thing? Although everybody gives him good options later on. Sorry, I'm rambling. Continue.
How do you find Millie Alcock in the role of Princess Rhaenyra?
Well, I think ever since Ian said it on the first episode, I can't stop seeing that she's got a weird face. I was like, she does have a weird face. I mean, she's all right. She's pretty good in the role. You know, I mean, it isn't next episode when they change it up and they get a new actress in here.
I'm not sure. I haven't looked at any spoilers or anything. I actually quite like her in this role. I never really think about the weird face that you guys were talking about. I think she's beautiful.
Yeah, she's all right. But ever since he said it, I was like, you know, she does kind of have a weird face. Now that he says that.
Is that the young one?
Yeah. Like, I don't know, but she's not unfortunate looking. She's good looking. Kind of.
She is an Australian. You can kind of see some of the, not quite an Aussie twang. She hasn't got that, but some of the mannerisms, is coming through, which is quite funny. But I have to pull you two guys up. You say that She-Hulk actress is cute, you both said. And now you're saying that she's got a funny face. I think you guys need to go to Specs.
All right, fine. I take it back. She's very good looking. I take it back. Mm-hmm. And then the queen comes in. She's all like, you need to get your butt in there.
Face in the middle. They always freak me out, the faces on these things. Just,
right on.
Do those trees talk?
No.
Oh, okay.
Moving on.
So they leave the Red Keep and they go
off. I like some of these distant shots.
Me too.
A bit too CGI for me.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
See, I like it because the Red Keep is my favorite location in Westeros. So I like seeing stuff like this. It's very cool looking. You can see the dragon pit and everything. It's very cool. Or at least I think so.
Is that not the Sept of Baelor? No. Sept.
Is that the Sept of Baelor? See, I thought that was the Dragon Keep.
Chat, help us out. I'm sure that's the Sept of Baelor.
I'm sure it is. It probably is. I'm probably wrong. And then in here, he's all asking her when she's gonna, have a baby, and then she's all like, nobody's coming to this hunt for. Oh, he first asked her if she's gonna come on the hunt with him, and she's like, no, I don't like to hear the sound of boars when they die. They sound like crying babies. And then he said something along the lines of, well, you're gonna have one soon and make me a grandfather. And then she changes the subject and she's like, should you be traveling in your condition to the queen? And she's all like, the maesters say that some fresh air, forest air will give me, is good for the baby or whatnot. And then she's like drinking wine. And I'm all like, you're not doing anything good for this baby. I'm sorry, but
yeah, you go, folks. Shane Nolan, it's the Red Keep.
It was the building to the left of that we were talking about, Shane.
And then Melvin, where are you, Melvin? I can see you, but I can't find you.
Got it.
The trees with the faces carved on them, the one-eyed raven can see out of them. Probably the eyes. There was a comment about the actress looking a little bit funny, but moving on. There you go.
Well, I mean, she doesn't look bad there, so maybe you're right. Maybe I'm just too impressed.
Can't believe she's 22.
It's just because you're getting old, Brown.
No, she looks 8.
I like how they have these goblets on the side, like it's a little holder for their goblets of wine. I'm like, you guys can't hold off drinking for 5 minutes to get to this little forest. It'll take you like what, 20 minutes to cart there?
well spotted, unless it's for a lamp. No, they have a lamp there, don't they? Or do they?
I don't know. But yeah, no.
I love, at the danger of sounding slightly fruity, I absolutely love the costumes that they have for this, especially.
Oh, yeah. They're everything's. I think everything about this show is really, really well done.
Do you think she looks like a boy?
No, not the slightest.
No, I don't think so. Yeah.
Moving on rapidly.
Well, look what they did to my favorite Daisy in Star Wars. Deliberately turned her into a boy.
Oh, I don't think she looked like a boy in Star Wars.
Yeah, in all the Star Wars stuff, yeah.
Oh, I don't think she looked like a boy.
Millie pulls off a bit of grace here in the wide shots as well.
Yeah, I think
looking strong. I don't think it's a problem.
Melvin Deeply in the chat looks constipated.
I mean, she might be. She might be there.
There's a lot of kind of constipated looks in this show, and I think part of it is because with the pacing, they can't get into the kind of how the characters are reacting to issues, because it's then moving on 2 years, jumping again.
Right
that
on.
misses out. So there's a lot of kind of solemn, instead of actually getting into the character and how they're reacting, a lot of solemn glances.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, there's, but I don't really care for the jumping either. Every episode, I'm not a fan of that. But I like I said before, they're moving through the book very fast.
So this is the first Glastonbury Festival, yes?
Yes.
I don't know what that is.
So what's going on here, Brian?
He did go all out.
I've just read Melvin Deeply's comment. Melvin Deeply in the chat says, "Village of the Damned. She looks like one of the evil little Damien children." She does a bit.
That's funny. All the Targaryens do.
Yeah.
So this is looks like a medieval contest, or I don't know.
Yeah, this is they're celebrating the little boy's birthday, but they're going to go on a hunt, which they're not. It's not really a hunt, but they're just
Woodstock.
celebrating Woodstock. They're just celebrating this kid's birthday with extravagance.
Did you like seeing the Lannisters back in the fray?
I mean, yeah, it's always good to bring these characters back in. I'm just like, because I don't remember Jason Lannister being a big part in the book, but I could be wrong. It's been a little while. I just don't remember him being. I don't even remember him being mentioned, but he could have been because it sounded familiar. But yeah, it was. I think so. Yes.
He did have the kind of Nikolai Costa-Waldau swagger about him, didn't he, Jason?
Yeah, I like how he. Yeah, he was very much like, yeah, I'm gonna get myself a wife. And you're all like, calm down, killer. All right.
Have the swagger, if not the looks.
Yeah, you haven't sealed the deal yet, bud.
And this is the Lion King moment, if you look closely at Viserys and his son Aegon.
Right. Yeah.
Which results in.
And I do like all of the, like, they've dressed all these extras up and they all look good. Everything looks good on this show. Like, they spent the money and you can tell.
Yeah, it does. It really does. Here we have another brooding moment where she's thinking, am I under threat here? Is he taking over? The party's over.
Yeah, because she mentions right before this that she's like, nobody's here for me. And then she has this moment, and then she ends up going inside. And all these, you look at these yentas, yentering it up. My favorite. The guy that's sitting down, his name is Clubfoot.
Strong. Of how strong.
He is. Yep, of how strong. And his brother is on the council, and he's like, what's it, Viserys, the guy that had all the little birds in Game of Thrones. What was his name Viserys? I can't remember.
Viserys was the nasty prince in season 1.
Oh yeah. I can't remember the bald guy that didn't have balls in Game of Thrones. I can't remember his name. Yeah, that exactly. See, there's too many people.
No memory stream.
Yeah, there's too many characters. I can't remember all their names, but I remember that he was bald and he had no balls. But
the eunuch, yeah.
Yeah, he's
I cannot believe I can't get his name. Lord.
Yeah, he's like him. He's like the master of whispers and everything. So, but they're talking about Varys. Yes, there you go. Look.
There we go.
You.
Shane. I think Shane should be on this.
Yeah,
very good, Shane. Well done, mate.
But they're all talking about the war in the Stepstones, and I liked the the comment that she makes to this old lady with her dog about the Stepstones, because she's all like, "You're, you know, whether you like it or not, we're in this war." And then Rhaenyra goes, she's like, "Well, what have you done for the war in the Stepstones besides eat cake?" And I was like, "Yeah, tell that old bitch."
The inclusion of dogs in this episode was a bit kind of strange. It went from dire wolves to household pets in this episode. I noticed the budget.
Right, and it was like a pug or something like that. And there's Jason. He's giving her wine, which
Giving
now
her
I
what?
want to.
I thought you were giving her one.
Do you know what? See, since Melvin has just told me about the Village of the Damned there, made the comparison, that's all I can see. Cheers, Melvin.
And I love how he's all like, "Oh, like Casterly Rock is so great. I could build you a dragon sept." And she's like, "Why would I need a dragon? Why would you build a dragon sept?" And I'm like, all right, you guys stop beating around the bush. What's going on? Why don't you talk to each other like, you know what he wants, he knows what you want. Come on, let's do this.
Yeah, so we can move in, love. I loved the little bit when he says the finest wine you will ever taste, and she takes a gulp, and it's like fucking as if it's just taking a gulp of vinegar.
Right? Yeah. Which, do you think she did that on purpose? Like she was like, "I'm gonna dislike this no matter what," or do you think she really didn't like it?
I suppose you could read it other way. I like the idea of him saying it's great and her going, "Oh fuck, it's rotten," compared to it. Because I think the Dornish wine is supposed to be the best.
Oh, right on. Yeah. That's a good point. And then her and her dad have a little spat.
So what's the actor on the left again, Matt? Again?
Paddy, what's his face?
Moving on.
Paddy Considine.
Considine.
Look, everyone's looking at you. Having a moment.
Yeah. Because she's all like, "You just brought me here to marry me off." And she's like, "I don't want to get married." And he's all like, "You're not past tradition. I'm not past tradition, and neither are you." And I'm like, all right, you guys, calm it down. Like, is this really a time to have a fight about this?
Yeah, and so is Hightower. He's also looking on as if to say, "Get a fucking grip of your knickers, people."
Right?
It's kind of strange that she isn't more accepting of her duty, isn't it?
Nice stripes.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. I agree, Brian, because when she had her conversation with her dad last episode, she's all like, "I get it. You're the king. You need to remarry." And I don't understand how she doesn't realize that she's the soon-to-be queen and she's a woman. She has to marry. Like, you'd think she'd realize the same thing.
That's what I was saying earlier about the kind of disconnect. There feels like a slight disconnect between that, and it doesn't have George R. R. Martin's intricacy of writing to fill that in because of the layout of the books.
Right on.
Anyway, moving on.
Brian, care to read Shane's comments?
Welcome to two people pressing the button at the same time on you, Mr. Brownlee. Shane Nolan in the chat says, "Lord Hightower. I remember him from Excalibur. He played King Arthur's brother, Sir Kay. And in Police Academy, obviously."
Yes. And he was in Blue Thunder as well, TV series.
Was he?
Yes. And what do you call it? Yeah, Police Academy and Blue Thunder, yeah.
Melvin. This is Princess Rhaenyra. She's had enough. She's spitting the dummy very politely.
Thank you, Melvin.
Yeah, she rides off. She's having a little fit.
You guys sound like you're really into... Are you into this now, do you think?
Pretty much. There
Yeah.
are moments to take me out of
Yeah,
it.
you're digging it, yeah?
Yeah.
To a point.
I'm
I'm
all
still... Sorry, I'll let you talk, Mark.
No, you go. No, I'm interrupting you. You go.
There's still moments in it that take me out of it. Little daft things here and there, silly things here and there, little inconsistencies, I would say. Areas that need to be polished up. But I think considering the shambles that was season 8, I'm relatively happy with what's going on. And this is still season 1. We'll have to see how it goes.
Yeah, and I'm all in. I don't get taken out or anything. Like, I really like it. I really like this world that they've built, and I like the characters. There's just too many names for me to remember all of them. So
yeah, I'll just say to the guys in the chat, are you enjoying what you've seen on the TV so far? Shane is. He's in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Franco says too much to keep track of. I think you need to be a hardcore fan.
Yeah,
I was going to say that was Franco mentioning earlier that he hasn't seen the previous stuff, so I can understand why that might be awkward. And I think it was Lost Chord who made the comment that the characters in Game of Thrones in the very first episode, they were basically introduced, and not only in subsequent episodes, the situation. There were a lot of the younger characters being plunged into places they didn't know, and it had to be explained to them. So the audience is being explained at the same time, having that explanation at the same time. This doesn't have it. This is just straight into it. There we go.
Right on. Yeah. Yeah. So then Sir Cole, he catches up with her and he's all like, we should go back. And then this is where she mentions something like, I can't remember exactly what she says, but she says something along the lines of, did he make me heir to, piss off Daemon, or did he really think I could do it? Something along those. I may be paraphrasing. Well, I'm paraphrasing for sure, but I can't remember exactly what she said. And then she asks him about if he ever, got a proposal, and then he says something about how his station wasn't high enough. But he mentions like something along the lines of that he was a bad boy, and I was like, oh, naughty boy. Yeah.
In the chats, Tim's talk. Hello, Tim. Long live Jon Snow.
Yeah, Tim. I always like Tim's streams also. Although Jon Snow sucks.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Jon Snow.
But I'm glad Tim likes him.
If I may, can I tackle the elephant in the room?
Do it.
Have you guys seen the Lord of the Bollocks? Yes.
No.
I watched most of the first episode.
Oh wait, what are we talking about? Rings of Power?
Yes, Lord of the Bollocks.
Oh
yeah.
Yes, I've seen both of them. Sorry, I didn't get the joke, but yeah, I've seen both episodes. They're shit.
I was gonna say this is superior then, yeah.
Oh yeah. There's no Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon effects here. People aren't just floating.
Shane says it's diabolical.
Yeah,
I'm not a big Lord of the Rings fan, but I watched the most of the first episode. It was very, very pretty. I thought kind of bland, and I know that it destroys much of the canon that's in there, which is criminal. So I'm having to look at that and try and judge it without the elephant in the room of the canon being torn to shreds.
Here you go, guys. The mighty PJ, maybe hello PJ. Rangs of Power in a nutshell. Brian, do you want to say that last two words?
Horse's ass.
Yeah, he's not lying.
So this is going to do well just off the back of the dismal showing of the other series, isn't it?
I think so.
People into stuff like this.
And I do say in the books, now I don't know exactly, sorry if you can hear my children, they're playing. But I don't know in the books, because the books is very like wishy-washy in terms of like what's true and what's like rumor. But in the books, it's rumored that these two hook up, but it's not. But it's only rumored to, because like there's a, I think it's Mushroom that he makes it seem like they did hook up, but the Septon makes it seem like that she tried to get with him and he rebuffed her. And so then from that point on, he's just mad at her because she tried to make him go against his vows. I'm sorry, I went too deep into the books. I apologize. But I am curious to see what they do in this show. Because the same thing with the first episode, in the books, they make it seem like it's just a rumor that Daemon said the heir for a day. But in the books, they make it seem like there's no, you couldn't tell if he had said it, or there was no definite answer if he had said it or not. And I feel like the show made it seem like he definitely had said it. So I'm just curious to see what they do with these two. Sorry, I went too deep.
No, not at all. I think his presence in the show here helps to balance off the fact that she doesn't want to go with anyone else that's offered, because she's comparing it to someone who has actually fought. And yeah, it reminds me of Christian Bale, the way this guy speaks, that strange lisp.
Oh, good for you.
Right on.
Moving on.
And he's just getting sloshed, which I love. I was like, go ahead.
Yeah, he's had enough. He's almost in Robert mode at this point.
Yeah, I was like, look at you having a good time. But I get it. Sorry, you go.
I'm not telling you go. I was just saying it leads to Jason Lannister being spurred here.
Yeah, I mean, he does bring him this spear, which the spear is pretty cool. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I would hang that up on my wall. That's a pretty cool spear. But then he's all like, here, take this spear and give me your daughter. I'm like, okay, that's that's not really a great trade, bud, but okay.
Kind of disses him here a couple of times by the strength comment, and also by undermining his authority over who's going to be the next heir.
Yeah, I loved how he's like, oh, so you're looking for traitors, and I was like, yeah, but you're right, he does diss on him with that power, that strength comment, because they've got dragons and the Lannisters don't.
They're playing him kind of like Jaime and less like his father.
Right on.
His father would have been more clever about how he'd suggest things and does things, rather than just being so brazen.
Yeah, and I think that the Lannisters do side with the side of the Greens during the Dance of Dragons.
They always have a tentative link, the Lannisters.
Yeah.
Pick my father was never one to pick the losing side, Jaime says in season 2.
Right on.
Season 3, after he gets his hand whipped off.
Yeah, and then these two are just, at this point, I'm all like, why don't you just go back to that little camp? You're just making fires and stuff. Like, what's going on here? What's going on?
I can just see the shippers being terribly disappointed in this, but I think they would have been expecting something else to be happening.
Right.
Certainly expecting her to be mounted, just not by a boar.
Right.
Has there been any sex in this yet?
Yeah, in the first episode with Daemon, he's in the whorehouse.
All right.
Moving on.
I have to say
Christian Bale, wondering what's going on there.
Right. I didn't expect a boar to pop out. I was expecting a person with this boar.
Is there a boar in there?
Yeah.
I have actually lightened that image from the source because I know your screen's set on mega power save mode, Brown.
Yeah, I had to do the same when I did my review for it. I had to lighten all the images because I was like, I can't see anything going on here.
It's put on his arse.
Matt, would you like to put the link for your review in the chat? I think you can do that now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just give me 2 seconds and I will.
So there's a boar there.
It attacks the gentleman, sends him flying up in the air before then mounting the princess. And he manages just to get a quick stab in. We think it's dying, and it rears its ugly head, and it means that she now has the chance to kill the... do you know, if this was more woke, she would probably just have been able to kill it outright, and the guy would have been completely on his arse and not getting back up. But he does actually get back up, and not the killing blow, but it's a strike that disables it, essentially.
Yeah, and I love how this is a callback to when she's all like, I don't like to kill boars because they sound like children crying when they die. And I'm all like, you got your wish, honey.
She gets over it quite quickly, doesn't she, with the multiple stabs?
Yeah, she goes very psycho on it real quick. It's like, just die already.
For the folks at home, there's Matty's review of this episode on his own personal channel. What Geek? Or Geek What? Which is it? Is it Geek What or What Geek?
Yeah, it's Geek What. Like, Geek What?
And then exclamation mark, question mark.
Yeah. Yeah. Or the other way around. Which is not grammatically correct, but whatever.
Yes. So more barbecue.
Yeah, this is, I can't remember if it's this scene or if it's I believe it's this scene where he talks to her about, the first time he married his wife, he married her because that was who they chose for him to marry. And he married her because that's, who he was made to marry. And he loved her. But then the second time he wanted to marry, out of love and not out of duty kind of thing. So...
He also mentions the dream that he had.
Oh, yeah.
Which was?
About him being the king and taking over. Anyway, next slide. Welcome to two people pressing the same button at the same time again.
I felt bad for this deer. This is not hunting. This is not. I'm all for hunting, but this is not hunting. This is you just killing an animal because you can. I was like,
Yeah.
I was like, but I did like the line where he's like, it's because they go for the white deer. I don't remember the white deer being mentioned in the book, or in Game of Thrones off the top of my head. But he's like, it's not white, but he's a big fella and everything. I was like, yeah, he's huge. But yeah, I felt bad for this deer at this moment. I know. You're all like, oh, fucking pussy. But I did, because I was like, this isn't hunting. I was like, you want to hunt, you got to like chase it down yourself and shoot it or whatever you need to do.
There's a bit of a contrast with the next scene that comes up immediately with when she doesn't chase after it or do anything as well. I don't know if it was deliberate to try and show the different mentalities or something between the two of them, but that would then go against the fact that she just slaughtered a boar in a horrific manner.
Right. And I do like after this one, I was like, though there's that Lannister kid with that spear. He's really all about that spear that he made for him.
Yeah, he's obsessed with his spear.
Yeah, like I feel like he's off in the corner, like, is he gonna use that spear? I paid good money for that spear. He sounds like a total Yenta, like just all like, I paid good money for that, and he's not even gonna use it. And then here he's all like, I'm gonna bring it. I'm gonna make sure he uses it.
Yeah. Don't give him the option. Jacob Ironside in the chat says the sex and nudity is the main reason I didn't watch Game of Thrones. I'm a Christian, and that kind of stuff takes me out of the story. I can understand that.
Yeah, I totally get it.
It doesn't offend me really, but it often seemed unnecessary, I thought.
I will say, if I may, I wouldn't recommend watching Banshee then to Jacob.
Yeah, but that show is so good.
It's a fucking great show.
Oh my God, I love that show. All right, yeah.
Whereas Franco on the other side says, Jacob, that's one of the main reasons I would watch it. And a few others. They did have that habit of having exposition, which they called sexposition during the shagging scenes. Actually, the one I thought was quite horrible was Peter Baelish in the Pleasure House. When he first does the explanation, I thought it was really coarse. You know, never mind.
Yeah. I mean, I get it either way. I get people's thoughts either way on that stuff. There he is with that spear. Now I want to know how much that costs.
Anything why it's got the $2.99 mop from Aldi.
Right.
I know they have spears that I think in Japanese fighting culture that have a rag on it so the opponent can see their own blood to demoralize them. But I don't know what it would be here.
Right on. Yeah, Banshee is really good. I love Banshee.
Great series.
So I love how he's hungover and he's gonna go stab this thing. I was like, yeah, I'd miss too the first time if I was hungover. I wouldn't have gone if I was hungover. I'd be like, listen, I'm the king. Can one of you just kill it and say I killed it? Because I'm not in the mood for this shit. But he went.
King Robert could have done it mid-session, couldn't he?
Right. Yeah. Right.
Sorry, Matt. I didn't mean to talk over you there.
No, you're good. You're good, dude. So yes.
Quickly going back to the Rangs of Power. Obviously, the publicity for that is all over the place.
Yeah.
There's not a lot for this, is there?
No, I think that
nobody's saying anything, or it's just kind of fan talk behind the scenes. Maybe, I don't know.
For sure. And then when I do also hear, like when they did interviews before the first episode came out, they were all very, like, all the actors in this were very like, I thought, gracious, honored to be in the show. Matt Smith, they're all like, he's all like, I could just only hope for this to be as big as Game of Thrones. And I was like, you can see the difference between the actors and their mentality towards their own shows. These people are obviously, they're a part of something huge and they're grateful to be on the show and they're grateful for the fan base that it does have. Unlike the Rings of Power, where they're just all like it, bigot.
Yeah.
In the chats, Bishop Moore, please check out PJ Maybe's channel. Very good geek talk and powered by Iron Brew. There's the link. I always say hello on a Saturday night. Nice laid back channel. Check it out, folks.
I should really schedule so we don't overlap as much, because I do like PJ's show.
I will definitely be subscribing.
PJ, you need to come on here, mate, before long.
And this is Princess Rhaenyra returning to the camp, and she just happens to have a boar with her. And I don't mean the gentleman from Dorne.
Right.
They all seem to be eating in this program.
Yeah, there's so much food. I'm all like, how can you guys eat this much all the time?
She has got a very Australian look about her.
I've never
like-
had boar. I love how she brings the boar back and they're like, all right, party's over. They're like, we're going home.
I've been subjected to several boars in my lifetime, but I've never actually eaten it.
No, I do like the Red Keep. It's my favorite building / location in Game of Thrones / Westeros. I really like it a lot. I think it's very cool.
There's a kind of Axis Chemicals shot in it.
Yeah, like I think no, you're right, and it's got that like cathedral looking thing in the front. I think it's just very cool looking. I like the whole thing.
It looks very CGI or very bad matte painting.
Oh, see, I think it looks good. So here, Otto. Go ahead, you go.
No, you go. You
go. Okay, so Otto talks to his daughter, and he's talking to her about how her son is going to be the heir. And she's all like, I don't want to think about it. And he's basically like, well, you need to start thinking about it because nobody is going to want a woman on the throne. She could be, Aemon. Is it Aemon that she says she could be? She could be Aemon reborn, and people would still not want her on the throne.
Aegon reborn.
Yep. Yeah. And go ahead. What?
I love Rhys Ifans in this. I think his performances is just so understated. He's one of these guys that, especially in this part in particular, you don't feel as if he's acting. You feel as if he's just there. I like it a lot. So I'm just reading PJ Maybe's
right on
advice there. Sorry, Matt, I interrupted you yet again. If you want to take over.
Welcome to the interrupting channel.
You're the expert for interrupting, Brown.
No, I interrupt you. You're
easy. PJ maybe at Not Brian. They do some nice boar burgers in Glasgow's winter markets nearer Christmas.
I would eat a boar burger, but I'd eat a pig's ass if you cook it right. So he basically tells his daughter that she
is it chewy.
I mean, I don't. If I have had it, I don't know. I don't remember, but I'm just saying, I'll eat anything if you cook it right. So he tells her shit. She needs to convince her husband, the king, to name Aemon the heir. So it settles this whole thing. And I forgot to mention earlier that Hightower Otto, he tells the king, you know how you solve all of this. You have your daughter marry your son, which is weird, but you have Rhaenyra marry Aemon because they've done it before. This is not unknown to the Targaryens. But if you have her betrothed to Aemon, then it settles the whole thing. She's still going to be queen. He's going to be king. There will be a man on the throne. The Westeros will be fine. Everything will be settled. And he's just all like, yeah, I don't want to talk about this right now, dude. I'm going to get drunk. Okay. And then here he's all like, the gods are punishing me for my overindulgence. And is he drinking coffee? Because I was like, are you drinking coffee at night? Just go pass out. That's what I do. Coffee. Yeah, I would. Yeah, I'm all like, why would you drink coffee right before you go to bed, like at nighttime? Like, I don't get that train of thought.
Shane Nolan in the chat says Jaehaerys reborn, but I'm sure it was Aegon. He said because Aegon.
Yeah, I don't. You're probably right. Jaehaerys reborn. I don't remember exactly. That's the thing. I don't write these things down, these lines, but I remember them saying certain things. But yeah, and then she sits here and she talks to him about because he's all like, I can't remember if he says he doesn't want to talk about Rhaenyra's getting married, but she oh gosh, I can't remember what she says. She says something like, you need to, but that letter she's got in her hands is from Vaemond. Is that how you say his name? Valerian, which is the brother to Corlys. Is that how you say his name?
Matt Damon.
Yeah, no, isn't it a V? Vaemond? Isn't it Vaemond?
I think so. I've always said Corlys, Lord Corlys, Valerian.
Yeah, okay.
This is where he's asked for a response. Give us a response.
Yeah, because later on, Daemon won't ask for help, but Vaemond, that's not. And he's all like, "Hey, we need help because we're not doing so hot in the step zones."
Yeah, and she says that they'll think you're a good person. I loved his little retort to that. If you haven't seen it, listen to it. Moving on.
All right. And so this is him saying that he's going to send some ships and some dudes to help out with the war in the Stepstones.
Yep.
Ships and dudes.
Ships and dudes.
That's all you need, mate.
Oh, now I remember what Alicent said. She said, because he's all like, he basically says she has to marry somebody. And she's all like, well, why don't you set it all up and make her think she's the one making the choice when really you're doing it for her. And I also forgot to mention the Strong, the guy from the House Strong with the brother of the Clubfoot. He's on the council. Later on, earlier when he's getting drunk, he goes, can I talk to you? And he's like, is it about my daughter getting married? And he's like, yes. And he's like, let me guess. You want her to marry your son, who's, all great and everything. He's like, that's very nice. But no, I suggest what I suggested to you before, except this time she should marry Laenor Velaryon, Corlys's son, his eldest son. Because he says, it would strengthen your two houses. It would give the people what they want, a man they would give you a male heir to the throne kind of thing. And she would be wed off, and it would combine the two, the Targaryens and then the strongest house in, the kingdom. And so this is where he's talking to her about how you want to get married, you can get married for love, but really he's going to set it all up. Sorry,
someone who pleases you, he says, doesn't he?
Yeah.
She can't quite believe what she's hearing because for the first time possibly in her life, she's been asked what she wants.
Right on. And she does ask, she's like, what's that letter? And he's all like, I'm sending men to go help, some ships and some dudes to go help out in the Stepstones. And then she goes, did Daemon ask for help? And he's all like, no, he would never ask for help. But I'm just sending him anyways.
In the chats, the wonderful Bridget Moore, there's a link.
Thank you, Bridget Moore. I appreciate that.
Everybody should check it out. It's a great channel, and he's been sponsored by Viagra.
I wish I'd take that sponsorship. I'll take any. Listen, you want to give me money to talk about geeky stuff? I'll do it. So what gets me about this is I don't understand how, like, I mean, I get it how they're losing, but I'm just all like, how y'all losing? Like, I just feel like they just got some caves and a little beach, and you guys are losing. But I
need to see the triarchy in here, don't you? And we're not seeing any of that. It's just, how would you get ass handed to you by a bunch of pirates? It doesn't make much sense.
Yeah, and that's what we talked about earlier. I just feel like, and I think Marlon Unlucky said it way earlier about how the pacing of this show is just way too fast. Like they're going through material. With Game of Thrones, you had the 5 books. And then this one, you only got the 1 book, and they're just flying through stuff. It's too fast. It's too fast. But here they're talking about how the pirates and the crab feeder they've got these caves, and when they can hide out in the caves and not get attacked by the dragon. And I think the show is doing a good job showing that you can't just win a war with dragons alone. You need men and ships and all that stuff.
It's a bit like Afghanistan, isn't it?
That's the Lenny Henry character.
Yeah. I
was that the wrong franchise?
Wrong franchise, Brown.
Okay. Yeah, I do like this guy though. I mean, his beard, they could have dyed his beard, but he looks good. And I love this dragon. That looks so good.
Yeah,
he's my favorite.
Demon arriving back.
Yeah, because Vaemond, he talks about how like Daemon, is not helping them out, like his dragon and him aren't helping him out. And then Corlys he's all like, you're my brother and my blood, but if you try to get mutiny in my ranks, I'll kill you. And I'm paraphrasing there.
Yeah. The way they filmed this little bit was a bit strange. I mean, I could see him, it'd be good if they had him next to the dragon and he looks tiny compared to the dragon, but the way they've got filmed this, he looks smaller than the rest. It reminds me of that Lord Farquaad scene in Shrek, remember? You think he's massive and he walks by and he's tiny.
But I do like his armor. And this is him getting the letter from his brother saying that he's sending help.
Is
Don't
Matt
shoot
Smith
the
any good in
messenger.
this?
What'd you say?
Is Matt Smith any good in this?
I think in this specific episode, I think he's not the main focal point, but I think in the other 2 episodes, I think he's brilliant.
I've never really seen Matt Smith in earnest. I saw him a couple of bits of him as Prince Edward. I think it was The Crown, but I think he's really good in this. He's supposed to be dashing, which he somehow manages to pull off, despite the fact he's not particularly gifted in the looks department.
Right on. Well, I agree with you. I hear I have a brother. He tells me all the time that Matt Smith, and I agree with him. Matt Smith's not hot enough to be Daemon Targaryen. Like they talk about in the books, they talk about Daemon Targaryen like he's the hottest man alive, and I'm all like, Matt Smith isn't that.
Mm-hmm.
Corlys's son, his Laenor, he tells them that they need somebody to go out there and be the bait to draw out the crab feeder and his men. And then Daemon is like, who would do that? And obviously Daemon Targaryen, after he gets the note from his brother, he's like, F-bomb this. My brother is not going to help me. I'm going to win this war by myself. So he goes out there, puts up the white flag and holds up his sword. And he's all like, trying to get him to come out, which they do. They fall for it. And this is him out on the beach, which the beach didn't even look that big either. I was like, man.
Yeah, there is a wide shot that looks a bit studio-esque. There's the crab feeder looking over. Not a word to say.
Yeah, and I think when he goes to look at the sky, I think he's looking for Caraxes, because Caraxes makes that weird whistle right before he shows up. And then when sorry about my children. When Laenor shows up with Sea Smoke here in a little bit, Sea Smoke doesn't make any noise, which I was very surprised about.
I think we can actually just fire through these slides because it's mostly just all fight scenes from here on. So this is Daemon deciding, or rather, he's got them in the trap, he's got them where he wants them, and decides to take the first guy out and then go on something of a Leroy Jenkins, a berserker moment. Slashing bodies left and right.
Is the fight choreography good?
I'm not a great expert on that, but there was nothing in it that really took me out of it.
Okay.
Some of the shots I thought were really pretty good all the way through. Although it was quite hard to get a few of them on this slide capture thingy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he you know what gets about these, I always when I do my reviews, doing action sequences, getting screen caps of those and explaining it is really hard.
Blurs half the time.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
But he goes in hard. You know, he kills a lot of these dudes. I was like, look at you.
Moving on. Do you know, this kind of slightly took me out of it. He gets one through the leg and he gets two in the body. And he still goes on. One of them would be enough to disable you. In the next scene, he's running away as like a young man as if nothing happened.
If that was a Star Wars woman, that'd be just a mere nick.
Flesh wound.
Right. And then she'd pick up a whole building and throw it at him.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about this. I mean, maybe because it hit the armor, it wasn't too bad. I don't know.
That second one's pretty deep, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's what she said.
Indeed.
Hey.
And then these guys and then I love how the crab feeders just sending these dudes out to fight, and I'm all like, well, why don't you step in, crab feeder, Mr. Nod in your head?
It's as if they were going for the Night King type fight again.
Right on.
The final battle boss fight.
So he sends all of them out there.
Yeah.
And I
quite like this little moment where he's surrounded, but the Game of Thrones has done this so many times. We have one person surrounded. Oh, what's going to happen? In fairness, so does Lord of the Rings,
right?
And The Hobbit. One person surrounded against all odds. They're going to die, and then lo and behold, something comes out.
If this was the Rings of Power, that would be a woman stood there, wouldn't it?
For sure. I would have loved I would have loved it if Matt Smith turned around and said, "For Frodo." That would have made me so happy. I would have been so happy. Obviously it wouldn't have happened, but that would have been so good. So then all of a sudden, these guys come over the head, and then Laenor shows up with Sea Smoke, and they just start laying waste to all these guys, along with Corlys and Vaemond. Which was pretty good. I like how this show is showing that you can't just win a war with dragons. You have to have men and like ships and stuff like that.
Does anybody know how much this series has cost?
I think it was I'll say I don't know. I'm not gonna say because I don't want to.
Is it like $75 billion? Like
it's I think it's
dollars.
No, I think it's less than Rings of Power. No joke. I think that
well, wouldn't it be quite easy to do that, considering their budget?
Right.
Was it $56 million per episode?
Yeah, it was a lot. It's insane, and you can't tell. You just can't tell.
Obscene, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't understand, but
and this probably looks better, and it's a better story as well.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I feel as if the dialogue in Rings of Power just tries to be cleverer than it is.
Shane says $250 million.
Right on.
It's a nice shot. Dragon
and
taking out the archers.
Yeah, Sea Smoke is one of the smaller dragons in this little universe.
Is this where the budget's going?
And I think go ahead.
How do you tell the difference in these dragons? That's the one thing I can never keep up with. I can never tell which one's which.
Well, I only know because I remember it from although I did mess it up in my own review because I called Laenor, I called him Lasaris, and I said this was Arax, and this is not Arax. Right. But they did do a thing about the dragons that they made them look like three different things. Their skulls are either look like a wolf, a dinosaur, or a a horse. And I can't see Sea Smokes, but Caraxes is a wolf. And then when we get to Vhagar, that's a dinosaur looking head. So
there you go, folks.
Cool.
Marlin the Unlucky. I'm reading $21 million per episode.
Yeah, which is less than Rings of Power, and Rings of Power looks worse. Like, I mean, it's pretty, but like, I mean, I feel like they could have spent less and
almost 3 times as much per episode. Oof.
Yeah, it's so crazy the difference, and maybe we'll see it later in later episodes. All right, so this is where he sees the crab feeder, and the crab feeder, like a little bitch, goes and hides in a cave, and so he follows him.
And similar thing happens with Jon Snow when he spots the Night King as well.
Yeah. Except, can I just say, I was a little disappointed with this last portion of the episode, only because I'm a firm believer in the show don't tell kind of thing. And this one, they didn't even show or tell. I mean, they showed you the end result of their little fight. But I was like, I would have liked to have seen the crab feeder and him fight. But at the same time, it's also, this would be in the perspective of, if we were there fighting, we wouldn't see the fight. We just see him come out of a cave holding half of a dude.
Yeah. To color correct this one. It's, I mean, this is Daemon running off his injury straight into me.
Right. So
more scrappage.
Right on.
We're on the home straight with the slides. I quite like this bit, lifting up the two guys and just.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
It looks like the Batwing.
Oh yeah, we forgot to mention the dude at the beginning that was all like, "Save me, my prince," and then he just lands on him, and I was like, he probably thought you were dead anyways because you were tied to
I thought you were going to say the Afghanistan evacuation last August. Similarities there. Delighted.
Yeah, I like his helmet. I like his hair too. He's got a cool look.
I quite like this guy as well. His delivery and stuff he fits the part.
And I just want to say, this is diversity and inclusion, and it's done correctly.
Absolutely. It's not just thrown in, it works with the backstory as well.
Yeah. And they're not all like, he doesn't turn to the camera and go, hey, I'm black. Like me, bigot.
Maybe we could get Taika Waititi in to direct a couple of episodes and have him do that, and the Frodo comment, put that in as well.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt it that they would.
Taika Waititi Special Edition.
Here you go, guys. Jacob asks, why can't the dragons breathe into the cave?
Yeah, I did mention that earlier. Yeah.
You did. Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. I don't know, man.
Especially think of the damage it was done to Harrenhal with dragons just melting the stone. That's basically part of the lore. They just fly above Harrenhal and melt it from the outside.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like the unwritten rule, like the old maneuver. You're welcome.
One, Brown. Nice one.
And
I couldn't work out what this was at first, and I went, oh, fucking hell.
Yeah.
I thought he might have kept him alive to feed him to the crabs instead of just...
Oh, that would have been good.
Dead body.
Yeah, and
his face would have been protected.
Yeah.
Oh, there he goes. That's a nice shot on it.
Later,
I noticed that with the smoke, it tends to... I don't know if they deliberately put extra smoke in there to cover some of the CGI, so they don't have to put in too much effort. I don't know, but there's enough of scenes in Game of Thrones like that they're all misty and happen to be taken on a misty day.
Right, yeah. It doesn't look like anybody's there, so maybe they're just like, just add some more smoke so we don't have to get some extras in here.
Actually, that's probably what it is, because in the opening shot, there's no one about. And there we are, the final one.
Yeah.
Mirroring Princess Rhaenyra with her blood over her face as well.
Yeah. That's a good point. I didn't even think about that.
It just kind of highlights that Viserys isn't getting his hands dirty much, is it?
Right, yeah. Yeah, I think that, again, this episode I thought was good. But again, they're just going through so much so fast. I mean, but they are spicing things up because Martin only wrote so much, but they're spicing things up with their writing in this show. So, but yeah, like you said, it would have been nice to get into the whole triarchy thing, because now I'm all like, are they even going to touch on that? And there are 11 members from each city and all that stuff, or if they're just gonna leave it. I don't know.
In the chat, Melvin Deeply, this is very good. Carrie gender swapped. Very good. So do you want to do some closing comments then, guys?
Yeah,
so episode 3, is the series getting better? Did you enjoy this?
This is not my favorite episode, but this was a good episode.
I thought it was decent, but very, very rushed. And I think the fact that it's rushed is very much to its detriment. There's a lot of this that I enjoyed, this episode particularly. There are still moments that I'm taking out of it. I genuinely think that is to do with the pacing more than anything else. But I'll still watch it. It's still quite rewarding for me. I don't know how it would be for the uninitiated, and that could be a bit of a flaw.
Yeah.
Is it all the same production team as Game of Thrones?
I honestly have no idea.
Mostly, there's been a few people. I think it was Spotnik. He's been moved out. He's been replaced.
Right.
And yeah.
But
yeah, I'm gonna watch it tonight with my wife because she hasn't seen this epised yet. But
you're gonna watch it with the dragon, yes?
Yeah, and then I'll
Careful.
I'll tell you what she thinks about it, because she's always asking me like, who's this guy, and I'm always like, well, this is so and so and stuff. So it's interesting to see it from a perspective of somebody that hasn't read the books and only knows everything from Game of Thrones.
So both of you are quite hopeful it's just going to get better, and obviously season 2's coming, so
yeah, I think it is going to get better, and I think that my only concern is just the pacing of how much they're going through the book.
Right. Okay. Right. Okay. I think that's it, folks. Short notice, as per usual. I will say the chat. We are very lucky on this channel. We are nothing without the chat. Cheers, guys. You are wonderful. We will see you next time. And I will thank the guests. Today's show was produced by not Brian Young. Thank you, mate.
Cheers, Brun. Cheers to Matt for some fantastic input tonight, and also to the chat.
And last but by no means least, he's the backbone of, well, any night, really. It's Matt Katz 83.
Thanks for having me, guys. I always have a good time with you guys.
We will pop up like a bad smell at some point. Just watch out for us. I think we've got a musings, news of the week stuff, which we didn't do yesterday, to do at some point. I think we've got Dread 2012 coming up soon, so look out for that. So until next time, tatty bye, everybody. Take care. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.